Hi, Christina with White Mountain Endurance, and welcome to your pre-race meeting. We figured we would try something new this year, so you guys don't all have to be there at the same time and listen to the rambling. You can listen to this at your convenience. Please listen to the whole thing. Please make sure you read the entire race manual. We don't want you to have any hiccups or miss a bus or a start time or anything extremely important on race day. So I'm sharing my screen with you, and you can read through along with me. So the 100-mile event begins on Friday, August 18th at 7 o'clock in the morning. That is at Waterville Valley Town Square. Please park by the skate park. You can see here that right there we have a link that's going to take you to that location. Park your car there. You're fine leaving it there for the entirety of your race. When you come to find us, you're going to walk into Town Square. You'll see the pond straight ahead of you. Take a left and you'll see us set up there. That's going to be your starting line. That's also where you're going to have your mandatory gear check the morning of the event. So you'll show up there with your gear, show it to us, make sure you have everything with you. And that will happen somewhere around 5 o'clock in the morning. You can come a little bit early. We'll probably be there, and it will end at 6:30 in the morning. If we don't check your gear and have you checked off on the list, then you are not going to be counted as being a part of the race. So it's extremely important that you show up and have your gear checked. If you have questions about what you need to have the morning of your race, when you pick up your bib and bring your stuff, we can take a look at it for you and we can certainly let you know if it's appropriate or not. So if you have to make any last minute adjustments, you can do that. When you do your gear check, just double check with the volunteer, make sure that they've checked you off and that they have your bib number so that you are included as being part of the race and having had your gear checked. If you don't have your gear checked prior to 6:30 in the morning, it's going to be too busy to do that. So you'll have to wait until after the event starts to get your gear checked. So please arrive early. The 50-mile and 100K events begin at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, August 19th. You have to take the bus from Waterville Valley. There are no exceptions. This was on the website. This is really important. We almost lost our permit last year for two reasons. One, people were congregating in the parking lot. There were cars parked all over the road. The other reason was we missed a few people with gear check trying to hurry up and clear the parking lot and deal with race morning hustle and bustle. So we really need to avoid that. Absolutely no exceptions. We're sorry. You have to be at Waterville Valley. Meet us at the skate park. You'll see the buses there. They leave at exactly 5 o'clock in the morning. We expect you to be there around 4 o'clock in the morning to have your gear checked. Basically, the way it's going to work is, show up. We're going to check you off on the list. It's the same thing with the 100-mile runners. Make sure the volunteer actually checks you off after they look at your gear, and then you can get on the bus. So you cannot get on the bus until your gear has been checked. Let's see. So the bus leaves at 5. And if you are dropped off at South Moat, unfortunately, this year we have to disqualify you. You will not be allowed to race. If you have support, friends and family hanging out at the starting line, some people bring people to take pictures. It's just not acceptable. If you have any people there for you at the starting line at South Moat, we're going to have to disqualify you. We don't want to be mean, but we really got into a lot of trouble last year, and this race is really special, and we want to be able to keep it going for several more years. It's a pretty cool race, but it certainly takes a lot of work to make it happen. We have here on your race manual the Google Maps to show you how to get to where you need to go. So you can just click directly on these links and they'll bring you right there. Again, going back to parking on race day, you can leave your car at Waterville Valley in front of the skate park. We'll meet in front of the skate park to get on the bus. 100-mile runners go into Town Square. You'll see us towards the left. All right, GPX files. We have these down for you. Do not run the ski trail from Bartlett Experimental Forest to 302 until race day. The landowners are requesting that. This is basically removing some of the road section for you guys, which is a lot nicer. So you don't have to worry about cars for as long as you did last year. But they are requesting two things: that you guys are uber quiet when you pass through on race day. So make sure you're not screaming, yelling, or any of that stuff. I know you guys will be quiet. It'll probably be the middle of the night anyways, but just be mindful of that section of trail. Be polite, be quiet. There are people staying in the cabins, and if they complain about you, then we'll lose this parcel of land. So you can easily download the GPX files. You can get it off of Strava, you can get it off of Gaia. You're going to want to put that in your watch and your phone or any other device that you have. And we have them laid out for all the different distances. Basically, click on the link and you can get that uploaded. The course is not marked. So, and it's not the same course as last year. There were a couple of changes. So if you're using last year's data, you're going to get lost. So you want to make sure that you're using everything that's current, and you'll find that in the runner handbook. And that brings me to bib pickup. Thursday, August 17th from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. We'll probably be there until 8 o'clock, so you'll be fine. But you can pick up your bib number at Osceola Vista Campground. Again, we have the link right here in the document. You can just click on that and it'll take you right to the campground. For the other races, Friday, August 18th, same thing, 4 o'clock. And again, we can probably be there until 8 o'clock for you. Ideally, get there the sooner the better. But we are saying 7 o'clock, but we'll be in that campground. Again, Osceola Vista Campground. It is okay if you're running in the 50 mile or 100K to get it Thursday night if you're really looking forward to doing that. Otherwise, it will be available for you on Friday night. Your pacer does not have to sign in, but you will get a pacer bib. So you'll want to make sure that, when you open up your packet, you grab your pacer bib and you'll give that to your pacers. And we'll go over pacers a little bit further down the document. Your pacer will sign in at the aid station when they show up. All right, here's the pre-race meeting stuff. Obviously, we're in that, so I don't need to cover that section. Aid station food. This is why we run ultras, the food. And we have a pretty cool menu this year. This is the first time White Mountain Endurance is actually laying out what we have. So I think it really helps with your planning. Take some time to look at everything to make sure that there's something that you can eat. If you have certain allergies or food restrictions, you may want to supplement with your drop bags. So basically, like traditional offerings, and they're all listed down here. It's the normal sweet, salty stuff that you will find at aid stations, the typical beverages, the Coke, ginger ale, and water. We are going to try our best to be cupless, but we will have cups available for you because we didn't have anything on the website saying cupless. Next year, we're definitely going to be cupless, so keep that in mind. But if you have a reusable cup, cool, bring it. That would be awesome. Going back to the other food items, you'll see as you come through the different aid stations, there are different things available each time. Pretty cool because it does give you a lot of variety. We'll have a pasta bar, a mashed potato bar. We'll have wraps. So we're going to have gluten-free, vegan, carnivore, whatever it is, we've got you covered. All right. And hot drinks as well. When you finish your race, we're going to have meal tickets for you. So you'll have access to food no matter what time you finish. A lot of you will probably be finishing in the middle of the night. If you're not hungry and you want to come back in the morning, feel free to come back in the morning. When the coffee shop opens in Town Square, we are going to have coffee and pastries out for you as well. So there'll be plenty of food for you when you're finished. But if you're just really tired and want to just go back to bed and come back in the morning, we're going to be there through Sunday afternoon, and you'll have access to your food at that time. Volunteers. Thank you to everyone that's been rallying to help us get some volunteers. We've been working really hard. We still need some more volunteers. So if anybody you know is available to come help, we're not going to turn down the help. We're going to be super psyched. You earn credits towards any White Mountain Endurance or Aravaipa race. So if you want to come out west and do a race out there this winter, really nice to use those credits and experience what it's like to run in the desert. All right. One other thing with volunteers, I know we only have one crew spot and it's for the 100-mile runners only. I'll get into that in a second. If you have people that are planning to help and crew you while they're volunteering, they cannot bring extra supplies for you. You can only use what's in your drop bag because we want to make sure that this is fair to everybody in the race. So your crew is allowed to take a quick break and help you with whatever you need, but they cannot bring extra supplies for you. That's just an unfair advantage. So we want to make sure that that is really clear. Volunteers can drive to the aid station, and if they do have the ability to carpool, that would be a really big help as the parking is extremely limited at these aid stations, especially during the day. We have a little more wiggle room at night, but during the day, there's a lot of hiking traffic, and these parking lots are super small. All right, drop bags. One small drop bag, 20 by 20 max. Highly recommend getting a dry bag just in case it rains. There's also dew that happens overnight and it gets like kind of chilly and raw. So if you want your things to not get damp, put it in the dry bag, put your bib number and your name on your drop bag, and make sure it's clearly visible and legible. So it'll make it a lot easier for us to get that bag to you when you come into your aid station. And at some point, you're all going to be really tired, and it'll make life easier if you can just look and see your bib number and your name. All of the drop bags will be taken from Waterville Valley to the designated aid stations. When the aid station closes, that's when we'll be bringing the drop bags back to Waterville Valley Town Square. You may not get them until Sunday afternoon. So if there's anything that you need sooner than that, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. The drop bags will not be brought back until that aid station closes. 100-mile runners, we're so psyched. We were able to get permission to have crew for you, and it's only for the 100-mile runners. Anybody in the 50-mile or the 100K, if you have crew that shows up, unfortunately, we have to disqualify you from the race. We have very limited parking, and the Forest Service was very strict about only the 100-mile runners. So directions, you can find that right here. You'll drive down to the end of the fire road, XB4CC, turn around, park on the right side of the road. Don't block the road. Make sure there's plenty of room for everybody. If you see runners, don't run them over. If you see bear or moose, don't run them over either. And don't park on any other road or you will be ticketed, towed, and in violation of our permit. The Bartlett Experimental Forest people will be checking. So make sure you follow the rules there. We want to be on best behavior so we can utilize this crew station next year. Do not leave your car there if you're pacing, and do not leave your car there for the entire time your runner goes out from the experimental forest to the turnaround and back. We don't have enough space for that. So find another place to go for a few hours. You've got several hours before they'll be back there anyways. That's a long stretch. It's a gnarly section of the course, and it's the, halfway through the race. So everybody's going to be super tired. Crew, one car per runner, please. And if you guys can carpool, that would really help out a lot. We've got right here, a little picture to see where the aid station is. Bartlett Experimental Forest is a series of dirt roads, pretty easy to navigate, well signed. And again, you can figure that out right there. So you'll come off of Bear Notch Road, drive into the forest. There is one section where the bridge is out, so you can't use that road, but everything else is open. All right. Pacers. So we already went over the pacer bibs. Pacers can happen for the first pass with 100-mile runners coming through Sawyer River Road. So when you come through Sawyer River Road for your first time, you are allowed to have a pacer. You can only have one pacer at a time. You can pass the bib number from pacer to pacer, but the pacer has to have a bib number. Each pacer has to sign in at the aid station, and they need to have their gear checked before they head out on the course with you. So make sure they have all of the gear. If you have questions again, we can look at the gear prior to race day when you're picking up your bib number to make sure everybody has the right stuff, but pacers have to be self-sufficient as well. All right. And there'll be a sign-in form for the pacers too. As far as dropping off the pacers, we were hoping to have enough volunteers to have a shuttle going. If you can have somebody drop your pacer off so it's a drop and go, they can drive to the aid station, There's no stopping the vehicle. There's no turning the vehicle off. It's literally drop off the pacer and go. We will make an arrangement to get the pacer back to where they need to be when they finish their run with whoever they're running with. So it might be a little while to get somebody a ride back to whether it's the campground or if you left your vehicle somewhere, but we will work that out. The best thing you can do is if you have two people, have somebody drop your pacer off. And then what we can do is when the pacer's done with their shift, we can actually message and have some, an arrangement for your friends to come pick up the pacer as well. So we're going to try to be as flexible as we can with that, but it's also a little bit complicated, but we'll make it happen and just make sure that nobody is parking their car and leaving it. There was somebody that had a question about riding a bike to the aid station to pace. I don't see that being a problem. So as long as you're not parking at one of the trailheads, that shouldn't be a problem. All right. Quiet hours. Unfortunately, Waterville Valley has quiet hours. The quiet hours are 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. So if you finish between those hours, we can't be screaming and yelling for you. So we'll have there won't be cowbells. It'll be kind of like a quiet little clap and cheer. We can make a lot more noise during the day, but between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m., that is the town rules. So you'll have to be quiet between those hours. We'll have music on from Stomp. Actually, it sounds like a search and rescue podcast when those hours aren't happening. So he will be there. We just have to be respectful of the quiet hours. And again, be quiet when you're on those ski trails that connect Route 302 to the Bartlett Experimental Forest. And that brings me to aid station cutoffs and locations. Do not turn around after you leave an aid station. It might be closed when you get there. There is no cell service. We're going to be trying to use Starlinks, but most of our communication will be done through ham radio operators. So if you get to one of these trailheads, there's not going to be cell service. You're going to have a really hard time. And if it's the middle of the night and the aid station has been broken down, it's going to be a long night for you and a very long walk to get to cell service. So you have to keep moving forward once you leave that aid station. Absolutely no questions. If you don't make the cutoff, we brought these back for you. Pretty sweet bumper stickers. So if you don't finish, you get one of these. If the 100-milers finish, you get one of these sweet things. These buckles are pretty cool. And we actually have flasks for the 50-mile and 100K finishers. They're coming in next week, so we don't have any to show you, but I promise you they're going to be super cool. I want to go over aid station cutoffs. So for the 100-mile race, your cutoffs are listed right here on this spreadsheet. I'll very quickly go over them. First passing on Osceola, 11 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Hancock Notch, 2:30 in the afternoon on Friday. Sawyer Pond, 6:30 at night on Friday. Bartlett Experimental Forest, 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. South Moat turnaround, 8:30 in the morning on Saturday. Bartlett Experimental Forest on your second pass, 4 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. Sawyer Pond on your second pass, 12 o'clock a.m. on Sunday. Hancock Notch on your second pass, 3:30 a.m. on Sunday. Osceola on your second pass, 8 o'clock a.m. on Sunday. You need to be at the finish line by 1 o'clock p.m. for your race to count. We'll still cheer for you if you miss that cutoff, but do your best to try to get there. 100K race, you start at South Moat. Bartlett Experimental Forest, you have till 2 p.m. on Saturday. Sawyer Pond, you have until 8:30 p.m. on Saturday for your first pass, and 2:30 in the morning at Sawyer Pond for your second pass. Hancock Notch, 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Osceola, 9 o'clock in the morning Sunday, and again the finish 1 o'clock p.m. on Sunday. And I think I made a mistake with second pass on Sawyer Pond. That's 2:30 in the morning on Sunday. It's a mouthful. 50-mile racers. Here are your times. Bartlett Experimental Forest, aid station closes 3 o'clock p.m. Saturday. Sawyer Pond, 11 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. Hancock Notch, 3 o'clock a.m. on Sunday. Osceola, 8 o'clock a.m. on Sunday. And you have to finish by 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. Dropping from the race, you got to tell somebody, and you have to make sure that it's documented. Double, triple, quadruple check. You'll get one of these wicked sweet stickers. You can wear it proudly on the back of your car or wherever you want to put it. And bring it to work, show it to your friend. But you've gotta let somebody know, because if you don't, we're gonna have to call search and rescue searching for you. And just going to be a nightmare for everybody involved. So don't do that to us. Don't do that to yourself. Um, we've had people just leave before, and it is so stressful as a race director. We care about you guys. We want you safe, and we don't want to be aimlessly wandering through the woods looking for you, wondering if something terrible happened. So please, 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 if you drop, let us know so that we can document that and make sure we get you back to your car safely. It might be a little bit waiting for a ride, but we will get you a ride back to your car at the finish line. You don't have to worry about that. So please, please, please just let us know. Accidents. It's been a very wet year. There's slippery rocks. Accidents happen. They happen to everybody. This has just been one of years where everyone's slipping and falling. So be careful, move carefully, and be mindful of where you're putting your feet. Moss is slippery. The black and green moss, that stuff's super slippery. If the rocks are sweating, it's even slipperier. If it rains, I mean, there's just so much to this. If you do get hurt and another runner goes by, let that runner know and send us a text message. On your bib number will be an emergency number. It's easier to get a text out than it is to get a phone call. If you have enough service to get a phone call out, call us, but preferably send a text message. Do not call 911. Our permit requires you to contact the race directors first. We will evaluate your injury, get somebody out to you, and get you off the course. So do not call 911. Call the emergency number on your bib. Camping and where to take showers. When you pick up your bib number, if you pay for campsite, you will be staying in the group camping area. We'll give you a tag, and you can hang that on your tent so that we know you legitimately staying there. Again, if you look here, there is the link to that campground. We have all the sites listed based on when they open and when they close. Parking is actually limited there. So if you can carpool, that would be awesome. You can park at Waterville Valley by the skate park. Try to consolidate cars so that we don't have a million cars there, because I don't think they're going to have enough room for all of us. The camping you pay for includes one 2-person tent. And with the car situation, hopefully we can have enough room for that. 100-mile racers can arrive on Thursday, August 17th after 2 p.m. to set up camp. We'll have it marked out where you guys can go. Be mindful, don't hog the whole field. Make sure that where you park, other people can get in, because you want to share this space. There are a lot of you guys camping, and we want to make sure there's enough room to fit everybody in there. 50-mile and 100K racers can arrive on Friday, August 18th after 2:00 p.m. I know 1 or 2 of you are doing the shorter distance races and need to come on Thursday. If you have to do that, just let us know so that we can get ready for your arrival and make sure you have enough room. So campsite, if you need to buy one, right here, this link. And then you can get a coin-operated hot shower 10 minutes away at the Campton Campground. And again, you can click right here, and that will take you to the website where it'll give you directions to get there. Campsites that open on August 17th, A, F, D, K, E, and B. So the ones that open on Friday are L and I. All of you guys have campsites through Monday. So if you want to stay Sunday night, you can stay Sunday night. You just have to leave before noon on Monday. We didn't want to have you guys all driving tired, so we made sure that your website covers you for the entire weekend. Mandatory gear. And this is non-negotiable, and it's really important you have this. The Forest Service gave us a list of gear that you have to have. and they will be checking. They usually check. Last year, they checked a couple of people. Really important to make sure you have everything in your pack. The permit relies on you guys being honest, being responsible, and carrying the appropriate equipment. There are some sections of this course that are going to take you a very long time to get through, especially at night. Hancock Notch might look easy on paper. That may be the hardest part of your race. Right now, it's extremely wet. Water can be up to your knees in a couple spots, and it can get cold at night. Our temperatures in August, we've had snow, we've had frost, we've had freezing rain. We can have super hot and humid. So anything from 20 degrees to 100 degrees can happen during this race. We want to make sure you have enough stuff. If you've never been to the White Mountains, I just don't even know how to describe it to you. It's hard and it's extremely slow going. It's harder than anything out west. It's harder than most of the mountains I've climbed. It is boulders, roots, just crazy terrain. So that's why we require you to carry this stuff. And the White Mountains make their own weather. So storms can come in, pockets of super cold can come and like hang out in the areas. So this stuff's going to keep you safe. It's going to keep you comfortable and it's going to keep you alive. So gear list. You have to start with a minimum of 2 liters of water in your pack. We encourage you to take more at the aid stations and kind of hover around that 2 liter mark. I know some people aren't psyched on that. Everybody has the same disadvantage of having to carry 2 liters of water. So it's a level playing field. You all have to do it. A water filter, those little squeezy bottle ones, the Katahdin Be Free is a perfect example. They're awesome. Scoop the water, put it on, super easy and fast. You don't need one of those old-fashioned backpacking ones. Any water filter that you can scoop water and filter that way works. Don't get a life straw, that's not enough. Minimum of 1,000 calories. You should always have a ton of food on you. You're going to get hungry. I promise you, you're going to get really hungry. If you need extra food from the aid stations, grab it. We've got plenty for you. We want you guys to eat because the longer you're out there, the more food you're going to need to prevent fatigue and freezing and all those bad things from happening. And be mindful of drinking. Make sure you're getting enough fluids in you so that you don't get dehydrated. Emergency blanket. So just any sort of emergency blanket, one of those silver things works fine. If you need to buy one, you can log on and add it to your registration. We do have those for purchase. GPX file has to be uploaded into a GPS, a watch, or a phone, and we need to see that you have the course in there. This is important because the course is not marked. If you don't have a GPX file, you're probably going to have a really bad day. Extra battery pack. You want to carry 1 or 2 extra battery packs. You can leave one in your drop bag halfway and bring your chargers. Don't forget to bring the chargers for your phone, your watch, whatever you need, but have all those chargers available in your pack. Have the battery there. Most likely things are going to die. They're not going to last, especially if you're doing the 100-miler. So you just want to make sure you have enough battery power to keep things going. You should bring your phone just in case you have to make a phone call. This is a very remote course. If you happen to have one bar, you can usually get a text out. So make sure you have that with you. Or if you have a satellite phone or you can get the little trackers. There's the Garmin InReaches, the Mini. You can use those to send messages as well. So anything that you want for communication, carry that with you. You want to bring a headlight plus extra batteries. 2 headlamps if they're the rechargeable kind, or if the rechargeables that have the battery that go in it, 2 charged batteries. The rechargeable ones are a little bit tough because they can just randomly die like that. So you want to make sure you have at least 2 batteries for those. For a course like this, I just suggest a headlamp with regular batteries and just have extra batteries to keep that thing going all night. The last thing you want to do is be out there in the middle of the night with no light. Light wind jacket. So you can bring anything to keep the wind off you, keep the elements off you, but it should be something that you can wear if it is super windy on the ridges, if it's chilly. You have to bring gloves and a warm hat. It doesn't have to be anything insane, but just something to keep your hands warm and a beanie style hat. A compass. If you don't have a compass, a GPS, most of the watches and phones have a compass. So you can use that and again, that'll help you navigate in case something happens. Neon safety vest with large reflective areas. Here's the image right here. This is an example of the type of vest required. Non-negotiable. I had a long conversation with the DOT. This is the only way you guys are allowed to run on the road. Last year, we got in so much trouble because a couple people had these string ones. Not enough. They want you bright yellow and reflective. We don't want you to be roadkill. That's just not a great way to go out. There's far better ways to leave this world. Don't get hit by a car. You don't have to wear the thing on any other part of the course except for when you're on the road. They're short sections, so it's not that big of a deal to throw it on. You probably won't even need to get into your vest while you're on the road section. So do wear that. We have them for sale. You can add it to your registration. You'll want to bring a first aid kit. Things happen. Band-aids, ointment, blister care, just a few things just in case you slip and fall and cut yourself. You may be out there for a really long time. You want to make sure that you have the ability to bandage yourself. Some gauze. They sell these little bleed kits that are really good. Most of the injuries you're going to find are severe chafing, lacerations, contusions. So those things, make sure you have something to kind of bandage yourself up if that happens. We're going to give you guys all a turn sheet handed out in your packet at pickup. The turn sheet will be specific for your race and they will be laminated, or we'll put them in a Ziploc bag. So you'll have directions. If you're doing the 100-miler, this was asked a lot. You're going to have directions in both directions. We don't expect you to try to reverse the directions. That's way too confusing, especially 50 miles into this race. We don't want you to deal with that. So you will have turn sheets for the entire race. We're going to be watching the weather closely. We'll be sending out emails with, the day before the race. The forecast out here does not get confirmed until the day before. So we won't have a good idea of what's going to happen until the night before. So we'll send out an email to everybody. Just take a look at it. We may require a puffy jacket, a rain jacket, hand warmers, winter hat and gloves, extra layers such as tights and long sleeve, and a buff. I love to just keep hand warmers in my pack anyways, year round, even in the summer. They're just nice to have, so you may want to consider doing that. We will also be checking the weather again in the morning because the mountain weather can change overnight. It's very unpredictable. So as we get closer, we'll have a better idea as to what to expect, and we will let you know. All right, that brings me to etiquette. Being able to host a race of this caliber is special. It requires the runners to be respectful towards the Forest Service, other trail users, wildlife, nature, volunteers. We just have to be nice. We have worked extremely hard to make this happen. We've delegated, having a good relationship with everybody involved in allowing us to host this. So we want to make sure that we keep that going and have a really good relationship with them. We do not tolerate littering or being mean to other trail users or volunteers. We have a lot of hikers here. We need to be nice to the hikers because if you're not, they're going to complain to the Forest Service and then we're going to have a problem. So take the high road. If a hiker is rude to you, just smile and be like, I hope you have a great day. And, a smile and genuinely just being kind and letting it blow over is so much better for everybody involved. And it feels better for you too. Instead of getting in a fight with somebody, it's easier to just be like, oh, sorry, and go on. If you violate these, you're going to be disqualified and banned from all White Mountain endurance events. So please, please, please be nice to everybody. We also strongly believe in leave no trace ethics and being kind to others. With the leave no trace, don't throw garbage, pack everything up. If you see trash on the trail, please pick it up. You can throw it away at the aid station. We need to do the best we can to keep these trails beautiful, and leaving garbage everywhere isn't a good idea. If you have to poop, nature will call. You're going to be out there for a long time. You need to go at least 100 feet off the trail. Make sure you are away from water sources. Dig a hole and bury it. Ideally, 200 feet off the trail. Nobody wants to smell it, see it. It's not good for the wildlife. Just make it like it didn't happen. I don't think I need to go into that anymore. So additional course information. We require the downloading of the GPX files. We went into that. Whenever you're on a road, you have to wear that reflective vest. The sections you'll be wearing it is the Route 112 or the Kankamongus Highway, Route 302, and Bear Notch Road. Do not cross the street when you get onto 302. Stay on the Bear Notch Cabin, Mount Tremont, or to the trailhead. So we have everything written out here. Make sure you read it to know what side of the road you're supposed to be on, how you're supposed to cross the road, and how to do this safely. And again, make sure you have your vest on. If you need help with Gaia, Rem put in a nice little thing on how to use that. It's right here. And then water sources, we have had a ridiculously wet year. Hands down, the wettest summer I can ever remember. Things are soaked. Your feet are going to be wet the whole time. The good news is plenty of water to filter. You're not going to have a shortage of places to filter water if you need it. Bad news is macerations are going to be a thing. Blisters may be a thing. Soaking wet feet. So plan on soaking wet feet in socks. You may want extra shoes or socks at the aid stations, but be prepared for an extremely wet experience. Refunds and deferrals. If you cancel your registration within 10 days of the race, you can have a 50% of your entry fee rolled over to 2024. No refunds or deferrals if it's within 10 days canceling. We have the turn sheets here. We don't have the 100-mile complete out and back here, but we're going to have that for you on the turn sheets that we hand out. Bad weather protocol, which is not on here. I just wanted to talk about that real quickly. If there is severe flash flood warnings, severe lightning, we may put the race on hold and then let you guys go if things calm down, or we may have to modify the course. Mother Nature has not been kind to us this summer, so we are going to do the best we can to make sure that the race goes on exactly as planned. But with river crossings and some high ridges, we do want to be really careful, and we ultimately want to keep you safe. So we'll let you know on race day if we need to make any modifications to anything. But for the most part, everything is a go. So far, the long-term forecast looks okay. And like I said, we will reach out to you all to let you know what the weather is the night before. And we can talk to you when you come get your bib number too, because we'll have a good idea as to what the weather looks like at that time. So I want to thank you for listening to me ramble on. You'll get to hear me ramble on a little bit more on race morning, just to kind of go over a couple of last minute things. Be there on time, and I really look forward to handing you your buckle or your flask at the finish line.